We had some technical difficulties the first time. Uh, looks like this one's running pretty well. So we are going to do some programming tonight. It's 9:41. Where I'm at, I have nothing better to do right now, so I figured, you know what? Why not go live and show you people how to do some of these programs. So, for those of you who follow me on Instagram, I was talking about how I have been working on this. This is my show mode program for my lights. This is what I use to control my lights when I'm at my gigs. So, let's see. So okay, apparently I don't have any, let's see.
¿Te atreviste a hacer trampa para ganarte un refri, César? Eres un descarado.
Let's see. Big Fiesta. This isn't. Fiesta X. Man, all of these suck. I'm not sure what I can use. Okay, you know what? Let's do a new. Yes, okay. So I'm gonna add another window. Display capture. Okay. Okay. And we'll just go ahead and turn that one off. Do that. Nope. Nope. And we'll do that. All right. So I should be able to see my full desktop now. And here we have Easy View. Perfect. Okay, so now we can see what it is that we are doing. And apparently Easy View wants to be super slow today, so hopefully we don't run into too many issues while we are here. Let's see. Is there a way for me to see y'all's like chat? Oh, here it is. Perfect. Have you ever tried the 80J Wolf Mix controller? I have, and I did not like it whatsoever. I hated it. Hated it. that wolf mix was a pain. And I have heard good things about it, but it's just I don't know, it wasn't my cup of tea, you know. I have a way of programming already that I've gotten used to and I'm comfortable with, and you know, the wolf mix kind of just it was a little too much. It was a little bit too much. But I mean, like I said, it's not for everyone. Not for everyone. Okay, these. Da, da, da. And we'll put these somewhere. Okay, so we have 14 MB1, so I'm gonna take 6 of them. Alright, that leaves me with 8. 8, yeah. For now, we're just going to be setting up a kind of stage real quick. How do I want to set this up? I'm not gonna worry about making it perfect. By the way, this live stream, this is my first time actually going live on my channel. And I do have a gig log on the way. I just haven't finished. I haven't finished editing it, but once I do, there is a new gig log on the way, so you'll get to see that. Okay, then I want to put this one right here, and then I want to put this one right here. And now it's just a matter of making everything look a little bit more uniform. So we'll have those two like that. And then we'll just select all of them. Make sure they are in the middle, which they are not. Right. Move these about right there. Move these about right there. And these two can go right there. Alright. 6, yep. Alright. And we will get out of here. Go in here. There we go. So we are just gonna do this. Right. And let's go ahead and add these 2-hour makeup stage. Do that. And this one. This one. All right there. Move it right there. And we will go with these. This is the hardest part for me, figuring out how to do setup. I can never tell, I can never know what a good setup is supposed to look like. Always hard. Always hard. I also apologize in advance if my computer crashes. I'm almost certain that's gonna happen. My computer's like frying right now. Like it's super, super hot. It's crazy. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but hopefully that doesn't happen. All right. By the way, I have copied your setups. I'm on my own. I appreciate that. As you can see, it's nothing special. I don't really, I don't really try too hard on my setups. I'm not good at designing setups. I wish I was good. I wish I had the creativity that some other people have. It's you know, I always like seeing what other people come up with whenever they're doing their setups, and it's always like, man, like must be nice. Must be nice to be able to do that. Yeah, dude, this freaking. I need to get a new Windows computer. This thing is like horrible, super slow. Do that. These are wrong. Pen is 540. Tilt is 270. Center, that's fine. Okay. These should be facing forward, so let's go ahead and fix that. Okay. My beams are good. My 275 beams, those are they? And we're going to change them also because by default on the visualizer they are a spot. Same thing with these 540, 270. And for those of you who'd like to use the visualizer, keep in mind that whenever you do something on the visualizer and if it doesn't look the way you wanted it to look, half of the time is because something here is wrong. And this is just because whoever made the profile for these lights did something wrong, and so it's always something like that. All right. So now let's do the jolts. dun, dun, profile settings. Do that. Change that to a wash. Change that to like a 1600. And suddenly we have our jolts. Oh. This one. Yeah. Okay. So this one go right here. This one right here. This one right there. This one right there. These two, bring them to the front. Even though that's not centered whatsoever, but who cares? And angle them down a little bit just so that it's not like hitting us directly in the eyes. But just like that, we have our setup. So now we are going to full screen and do that, and we have our visualizer all done. I like that. Saludos desde Queens, New York. What's up, New York? We got New York in the building. Okay, so go ahead and ask me your questions, and I will do those. Questions are gonna go first. If nobody has any questions, I will simply just start, doing my thing in programming like normal. But if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them. Now is the time to ask questions. So basically, pretty straightforward. I have my colors right here. So all does everything. So if I choose light blue, everything goes to light blue. And you can see here, everything is highlighted. The way that this works is simply this button on the top, any one of these buttons. Okay. Oh, perfect. There we go. Simply, it does light blue for both the wash and the moving heads, and a button for like the wash, for example, it'll only have the light blue for the wash. And so simply what it is it's this over here. So I have one for wash, I have one for the MB1s, and so they're all the same. Now, my moving heads, they do have more colors, but I don't really use them. Like I know that my 275s have a couple more colors that I don't really use, so I don't have them on there. And then my MB1s have a couple other colors that I don't really use, like what is it, lilac? Yeah, see, I don't use lilac, and my 275s, to my knowledge, don't have lilac. So they're not even labeled. Yeah, so I don't do those. Pretty straightforward. And so what this allows me to do is I can choose independently what color I want everything to be. So I can make my wash a specific color, I can make my beams a specific color, or I could just simply do that and then they all go together. Okay. And I saw one of you ask, how would you add it on the show section? I always just use the live method. First of all, you need to pay for the full version of MyDMX. Whenever you buy your little box, the white box that controls the lights, and you go to that website, you basically paid for the express version, which is like, You know, like you have everything you need, but not everything. That being show mode. So you have to pay, I think it's like $29 a year or like $100 for the rest of your life. So you buy that. I recommend just buying it for life because this does make a huge difference in my opinion. So once you do that, you're able to use this. But you can still program on show mode if you don't have your box connected. The only thing is, as soon as you connect the box, it's not going to work unless you pay. But pretty much, it's over here. You have the different options. So you can go here to edit, and then this little white line will appear, and this is basically like your border. To add, you can go right here, add button, and then this is where you make a button. So if I were to make a button, I would do this, name it whatever. So test. You can change the size of it. So 2x2 would be like 4 of these. This is a 1x1. That's a 1x2 or a 2x1. And then you can basically choose how you want everything to be. You can choose the color of your text. So we'll just leave it with white. And then association, that is where you associate a scene to the button. So these are your groups. Same thing as, oh, I guess I can't go. So basically, when you're on the live page, how you have all your groups, these are all your groups. So for example, standby, dimmer, wash, all that stuff. So if I were to add something new, let's say like I want to go, whatever this is, I forgot what this was. So you would go to the group, choose the scene, and then you can choose the action. So you have 3 options, either start, stop, or both. Basically what that does is this one, when you press it, it'll just play. This one, when you press it, it stops, and then this one does both. You press it once to play the scene, press it once to stop it. So that's the one that I always go with. And then once everything looks good, you can just click OK, and then here's your button. And we can press it to see what it does. And I have no idea what it does because I do not remember. What does this do? Okay, apparently it does nothing. Basically, that's how you add a button. I really hope this doesn't crash. Delete that. So these blank spaces right here that you see, these are actually scenes that I used to have that I have since deleted, but they don't delete from here for some reason. It's like a glitch. They're still there, but they're blank. But if you don't remove them, it raises the chances of your computer crashing. So I always make it a habit of deleting the scenes that I no longer have. So do that. Make sure I save before this thing crashes on me again. For some reason, okay. Oh yeah, there it goes. And so this is my speed for my moving heads, and I have 2 different types of moving heads. So I did independent speeds because sometimes I want my bigger beams to move a little bit faster, or sometimes I want the MB1s to move a little bit faster. And I just have your basic random, up and down, back and forth. Custom is if I have like a specific setup that needs its own movement, I'll make the movement over here in custom, and then I'll just go here, custom, and then I'll add the scenes here, and then I have a button for it. So this one really just depends on if I'm doing a specific setup, which I'm usually don't. But if we do something like the big circle hanging from the roof or some crazy setup, then I'll do that entire room. Just depending on what setup we're doing, this will do. It'll make the jolts the color of the theme, and then all my lights will point at different parts of the venue. For some reason, all of these are doing different stuff. Dance floor, same thing. You can see right there. I get all of them pointing at the dance floor. The ones on the floor just straight up. I love seeing I love seeing how this just moves everything. It's awesome. Up makes all of them just point straight up, as you can see. Apparently, why are these doing that? That makes. Now I'm intrigued. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Well, I need to fix that, but default. And standby is standby. I've explained what standby does on several occasions in my past videos, so I won't go into detail about that. Now, some additions that I did make are over here, my gobos. I didn't have my gobos already like fully programmed because I really don't use gobos, but I ended up doing it for both of them, so I have my gobos for both my MB1s and my 275s. And then I have a fader for the focus. You can see right here kind of in the visualizer how they focus as I turn it up. It's totally not accurate because this is a beam reducer, so bear that in mind. Here, same thing. I have the focus for the 275s. Forgot I wanted to do this. Reset all. There it is. So this resets all of them so that if I make any changes, like if I do this, if I click this, it resets. This is the fader transition. So whenever I turn it on, they kind of fade the different scenes. If I turn it off, it's just a real instantaneous change. So this is cool, like whenever we're working with bands, so I can change the colors nice and smoothly. So I'll go like from here to this, and it looks really nice. The beams don't do that, but it's a nice look with the wash lights. I'm gonna turn it off because apparently that slows down my computer by a ton. Sometimes when you don't use all your lighting, does it make a difference, or would everything still work? It doesn't make a difference. I know that some people like to make different show files for like different setups. You really don't have to do it. I'll explain why. So, I mean, these are all my lights, and as you can see, I pretty much filled up my entire universe except for a couple spots here and there. Thing is, if I'm using, let's say, so I have 16 MB1s, and I only have 14 programmed at this point because I had to make room for the 275s, which I will admit I like a lot better than my MB1s. I love my 275s. I actually got them for free. I got them sent by Sheds to use them and, send them videos of them in use, which I do. I never see them use it, but it's whatever. But I love those 275s. And so I have 16 MB1s, but I'm down to 14 because I had to make room. Point is, when you are using a smaller setup, or if you're not using all your lights, it doesn't matter. Just however many you're using. So like if I'm only using 6 MB1s, I'll use the 6 and then I'll just put the addresses of the first 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the rest of them, they're just empty channels. Just remember, whatever other lights you're using, don't put them on a channel for the MB1s. So like I can't put a 275 on 103 or 120, you know. If you're using, like me in my case, if I'm, let's say I'm using the 6 MB1, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I want to use my 275s, well then I have to jump to 239 for my 275, 255, and then the other two are right here, 470 and 486. The jolts, same thing. I would have to put my jolts at 282, 300, 318, and 336. All these channels for the MB1s that I'm not using would basically, you know, just be unused because they're still being controlled. Like technically you're still controlling those lights, they're just not plugged in. But the faders are still gonna be moving. You know, like if I went to general and let's say, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I went to channel 103, here it is. 103 right here, the faders are still up. So if I put a wash light, the red is gonna be up, the green is gonna be down, the blue is gonna be up. So you can use one show file for everything. Just just keep in mind where you put your address on the lights. And you'll be good. This is what I tell a lot of people. Like my buddy Cal, he wanted me to make him a different show file for every like setup that he had, and I was like, dude, you can just do it with one, and then simply just make different positions here depending on what setup it is, and then just label them accordingly, and you'll be good. And me, I do the same thing. It's just I have one button for everything. So like entire room, every gig we have, I change it. So I'll go to edit, which I don't even know which one it is. It's this one, pose. So I'll go to pose, and then I'll make the changes. So I'll do 170, and then I'll do that. You know, like I'll do all these changes when I'm there at the actual gig. You can see right here, I only used 8 the last time I had a gig. So these other 6, I didn't do anything to them. So that's how I do it. My girlfriend is on the live also, so big shout out to my girlfriend Mystica on the live. Another thing that I did add was jolt controls. And so I have flash, which makes them go white, and it cuts off all the other lights, so I can just go boom, 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 like that, and it cuts out everything. I love it. What else? So if I'm doing something live, like let's say, you know, I can just left, obviously, does left, right. So depending on what we're doing, I'll just go like that. Fade. Oh, well, first of all, you have to have this turned on, and then fades out. So press it, goes white, and then it fades out. Strobe is the same as flash, but it's strobe. So this one's really cool for when we do stuff with a band. Same thing, like if they're doing some crazy song and I just want to strobe it. I can always do this, but sometimes this is really overwhelming, so I'll do this. And then blinder, I don't have blinders, so what I do is I make my jolts kind of pretend to be blinders, and all it is very slow, and it makes yellow and white. When you mix yellow and white together, it gives you kind of like a warm white. It's really close to a blinder. It's not exactly a blinder, but it's really close, like identical. And so that's what this is for. So this is really useful when we do stuff outdoors, kind of like a makeshift blinder. Because I'm too cheap to buy blinders, so I will not be buying them. But I have my own blinders. Let's keep going. Fade effects. This one kind of fades everything in and out, including the jolts. I have one that is only for the beams because sometimes I don't like the jolts doing it, so this one is only for the moving heads. And this one's kind of just a smooth, like slowly turns on, slowly turns off. The shutter effect is more of a quick, like on off, instant. You can't see it, but if I had the lights in real life, you would be able to see it, and so that's what that does. Rainbow opposite is for my moving heads to change colors, because sometimes I want my jolts to be a specific color. But if I do want my beams to change colors, I have this one, or I can just go here to rainbow, and then they'll all do everything together. And speaking of these are my color combinations, so I can quickly make all my lights kind of just do something like this. This is my favorite by far. I think this is the best color combination. Green and purple. Only downside is green and purple make white. So I always lower the brightness. That's a little bit too much. I lower the brightness and then you don't see as much white as normal. This one is kind of a test. I'm not really sure how I like it, but I have it here just in case. This one's also a fan favorite. Light blue and pink. That one doesn't do too much white. Could you show how you personally make a movement for your lights on live mode? Yes, I could. Yes, I could, and I will do that. Let's go ahead and do that because this is actually. Why are they doing that? There you go. The thing about me programming, my life gets a little bit more complicated when I'm programming movements because I'll tell you, my MB1s. What is this? What is it? Jolts. My MB1s point forward when pan and tilt are at 0. My 275s, however, point to the sides. So, what does this mean? This means that if I want to make a movement, actually, I'm on the wrong page. If I want to make a movement, boy. So, if I want to make like a circle where they're pointing, what I always do is, you see the dot right here? See how it's kind of going around in a circle? So that is the position of your beams. I always pause it when the dot is at the middle. And that's not quite at the middle yet. So, right there. The dot's at the middle. And what I do that is so that I can position my lights. So if the lights are pointing straight, that means your position here is good. And that is the most helpful thing ever, because the downside about MyDMX is that the movement generator, it just sucks. It's horrible. So this is what I do. This is my shortcut. But as you can see, my MB1s are pointing straight. My 275s are pointing to the sides. So if I wanted my 275s to be pointing straight, I would have to put them over here. Now my 275s are pointing straight, but all my MB1s are pointing to the side. So what do I have to do? I have to make one movement for the MB1s and another movement for the 275s, and then I join them down here. So this is random one for the MB1s, and then this is random for the 275s. And so that allows me to be able to turn both of them on from one button. Rather, if you were in live mode, you have to go here, and then if you want to speed them up, now you have to go here for both of them, turn up the rabbit on one and then the rabbit on the other, and it's just, you're doing the same thing 2 times for everything. So show mode allows you to do it for both. But if I were to do a movement, let's just go here, and let's just say I'm making a movement for my MB1s. Basically, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to pause it when the dot is in the middle, make it small because I don't like really big movements, and then just move it till they are facing straight. And that is pretty close, but I think we can get closer. All right there. And default. And they're all facing straight. Perfect. So let's see how that looks. Oh my God, Caesar, you're so good. Trust me, it's harder than it looks. Now the second thing is, I don't like when moving heads are moving stupid fast. I hate it. It looks like you're doing sound active. It's unprofessional. Take me to one concert where they're playing like a slow song or just any random song that isn't like super upbeat and the lights are doing this. Like, no. So what I do, instead of making it 5 seconds, I make it 15 seconds, because at the end of the day, you can always speed this up after, or you can slow it down. So 15 seconds, that's the sweet spot. For those of you that want it a little bit faster, you can go 12 seconds. That works too. So 15 seconds for now. The next thing I do is I turn up the phasing value. My sweet spot is about 125. And now, instead of all of them doing this, they do this. They do this. And that's it. That's your movement right there. You can mess with this as much as you want until you get the phasing that you like. If that works for you, then that works for you. And then you can just generate, delete this. Now, you made your movement, but your dimmer's all the way up. You don't want that. When you make a movement, you want only your pan and tilt to be set to on. You want everything else to be set to off. So make sure you set this one to off on all of your steps. You can see right here, this movement is 375 steps. So press and hold shift, select all of them, turn this off. Now you can go back, turn them on, and you can make your movement. And then you can slow it down, or you can speed it up. And that is a perfect fast speed. And then you'll pretty much just want to do the same thing for the 275s, and then it'll just be a matter of coming over here. So like if that was my custom movement, I would just go here, association, MB1, C2, play stop, okay. and then I would go here, add scene speed, MB1, scene 2, and just like that, you added your new scene to your show page. So now you can go here and you can turn down the speed or you can speed it up. You can change your colors. You can add a fade effect. You can strobe your jolts. You can do everything. Or you can go here, slow that down because that's stupid fast. That's how you do it. Let's see. I'm drinking water. I love water. I need to drink more water. Let's see. Strobe, well, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Actually, do I want to make them smaller? Do I like how that looks? No, not really. I think I like that better. Strobe all, random strobe, white strobe, beam strobe, wash strobe. This one does the beams, this one does the wash, this one does everything. So if I have them set to a different color, goes to white. This one strobes it in that color. This is my controls for the 275s. And if you haven't noticed already, everything is color coded. My MB1s are red because mega light. My 275s are green, and my jolts are blue. Effects are light blue. Same thing over here, the speed for the 2, that way I know MB1 is red, 275 is green. These are the controls for the 275s, which is why they are green. I have my prisms, so I can turn them into beams. I can set the first prism, the second prism, or both of them together. This is the controls for the light bulbs because these have an actual light bulb inside, and sometimes I like to turn it off. So if I go to off, that makes the light bulb off. On turns it on. So like if we set up in the morning and then we go home and shower and get ready, I don't want my light bulb to be on that entire time because that's just minutes and hours of your light bulb that you're wasting. Not only that, I don't like to turn my stuff off after I turn it on. So I have these so I can just easily turn the light bulb off when I leave. When I come back, I can turn it on. You only have to have it on for a couple seconds. Once you see the light bulb turn on, you can just take that off and you're ready to go. My MB1s are LED, so that doesn't apply to them, but my 275s, those have an actual light bulb inside, so these you do have to check up on. So yeah, pretty much this is everything. This is you know, where we're at right now. This is Mexico. I haven't worked on this one in a long time, but it's okay. Police. This is that one. This is kind of like my slow songs. This was also my slow songs. That's how you do that. So, I mean, that's pretty much it as far as like what I've been doing. I'm pretty happy with this. I will say, freaking on Saturday, my Windows computer did not want to work for anything. Let me tell y'all why. So, keep this in mind. I only have one box for MyDMX, and I use it for everything, whether it's my shows or if I'm programming someone else's lights or if I'm doing a club or a bar. I always take that box and I use it to program on my MacBook. Right now I'm on my Windows, but usually when I'm doing work, I do it on my MacBook. And so one day I was at a bar working on some lights. My MacBook said that I had to update my firmware, being the box, because I was running the newest version of MyDMX on my MacBook, and on my Windows I had like the 2022 version, or the, as a matter of fact, it was the 2020 version. I don't update my stuff because I don't feel a need to, and so I updated the box thinking, okay, it's not gonna let me use the box unless I update it, so might as well update it. Well, it turns out that I had to update the software on my Windows or else the box wouldn't work. I didn't realize that until I came back home after the gig. So Saturday I had to run the lights off of my MacBook because this piece of shit, Windows, did not want to work. But I finally figured it out after I got home. Do you use the computer or another controller? No, I use the computer. And this Windows is touchscreen, so when we're at an actual gig, we don't really use the mouse. My guys that control the lights, they kind of just touch the screen and choose whatever it is that they want to do. And the cool thing about MyDMX is you can actually have multiple devices controlling the lights through Easy Remote. And so what I do is I have Easy Remote downloaded on my MacBook that I DJ with. So my Windows, I put it with my guys. My guy that controls the lights, he controls them from the Windows, and then I can also control the lights from my MacBook. That way, if like one of them goes to the restroom, or if he does something wrong, or if I tell him blue and he goes red, and I'm like, you idiot, I can just do it from my MacBook, and they can do it from the Windows. And so that's one of the benefits of MyDMX. That is probably the one reason I haven't switched from MyDMX. That, and also just the fact that it's easy. Like, it's really easy. You know, like for the stuff that I do, I don't need MA. I don't need, Magic Q. I don't need any of these super professional, like top-notch softwares. Maybe nice, but I don't need it. Well, Windows computer? That's a good question. I don't even know. I think it's a Lenovo. But you know what? No. It's a Dell. It's a Dell laptop. I think it's a Think Desk. I think. I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know. I will say though, I don't recommend you switch because back then, a few years ago, I noticed that MyDMX was horrible on Mac. Like, it would crash all the time, never worked, never. Now it's kind of the other way around. It runs super smooth on Mac, and it runs pretty bad on Windows. And so, like, it'll get the job done on Windows, but I always have I find it easier on Mac. So if you have a Mac right now, and if it's a newer Mac like an M1, M2, M3, I recommend you stay because Mac runs way better on MyDMX. Now there was one more thing I wanted to do. So let's go here. Let's go here. let's go. No, let's go here. Let's go here. Because I DJ and I control the lights at the same time. Just been seeing about the touchscreen. Yeah, I mean, the touchscreen is cool. I mean, if you have an iPad, I would recommend you do that instead. If you have an iPad, you can just get easy remote. You do need a router, like some type of Wi-Fi router. You can find a Apple Airport Express for cheap on Marketplace if you get lucky, or on eBay. I'm talking like $30. And you don't need internet. You just need the Wi-Fi. And so if both the Mac and the iPad, or even your phone, if they're on the same Wi-Fi, you can connect them and you can pretty much control the lights from both. And so, same thing, that's what I do. I run MyDMX on my Windows, on my Mac, and on my iPad. When I do stuff with bands, I'll be on the iPad. When I'm DJing, I do it on my Mac and the Windows. The whole time, MyDMX is running on the Windows, but you can control it from the Mac and the iPad. So if you have a Mac already, I would just say go with the iPad. You can go with the Windows. Pretty much any Windows will work. Just don't try to go for a cheap one. I had a cheap Windows that I started with. It lasted me maybe 2 years before it slowed down a ton. That's just something that happens with Windows. Windows computers, over time, they slow down a ton, and that's where it gets complicated. So MyDMX will run really good for like a year or two, but then after a while, it'll just start getting, pretty bad. I will say, if you get a Windows, get it with a AMD chip instead of a Intel chip, because if you get like an i5, an i7, i9, they're good at first, but then they get really bad over time. The AMD chips are way better. So this one that I have does have an AMD chip, and that's how I found this out. I don't think I will ever go back to an Intel chip because my old Windows had an Intel chip. It was horrible. I never had a good time programming. With this one, it's not my Mac, but I don't have as hard of a time as I did with my Intel Windows computer. So what I want to do is add a pixel effect, and I want to go to Knight Rider. I did this earlier, and for those of you who watched, what's his name? Those of you who saw Skrillex at Ultra, you might know what I'm trying to do. Size. Oh. Oh, okay. See, I'm learning as I go too. Okay, we'll put that at 50. Size. How does that look? This probably is going to look way better on one, 0. There it is. Okay. 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 And is that it, really? Oh, I guess that's all the steps. Turn this one off or on. Do this one. Do this one. Do that. gonna call this the Skrillex, and we'll turn on flash mode, and I think that's it. So now I can go here, and I'm just gonna duplicate this, put it right there, and we'll make this blue. Call it Skrillex. Change this to this. Place stop. Okay. And then I do want to raise the speed. It's not going to be as accurate on this thing, but once I have the jolts actually in front of me, I think you know where this is going. Oh, wait. That's what I need to add. Okay. See, this is why we check before we continue. I need this scene to turn my other lights off. So these don't matter. I don't even use these anymore. Okay. So now that, and then oh yeah, that's perfect. It's gonna be perfect once we're live. So that's pretty much the gist of it. That is how I do my stuff. That is how I program. That is how I get ready for my gigs. And so I guess I'll leave it at that. So if y'all have any questions, feel more than welcome to send them my way at my Instagram, and I'll answer your questions. So thank you for watching, and I'm out.